Good evening. It is Monday, March 2nd, 6 p.m. Time to call the Garden City Council meeting to order. This time I'm going to call Ashley Randall up from Garden City United Methodist Church to lead us in our invocation. And please stay standing for the pledge.
So I'm sure you're aware St. Patrick's Day is coming up very soon. And so I wanted to open your session this evening with a portion of the breastplate of St. Patrick, prayer that he prayed. Particularly, legend is before he went in to witness to the King of Ireland, who was a pagan, hoping to convert him to Christianity. Let us pray. I arise today through a mighty strength, the invocation of the Trinity, through belief in the threeness, through confession of the oneness of the Creator of creation. I arise today through the strength of heaven, the light of the sun, the radiance of the moon, the splendor of fire, the speed of lightning, the swiftness of wind, the depth of the sea, the stability of the earth, the firmness of rock. I arise today through God's strength to pilot me, God's might to uphold me, God's wisdom to guide me, God's eye to look before me, God's ear to hear me, God's word to speak for me, God's hand to guard me, God's shield to protect me, God's host to save me from snares of devils, from temptations of vices, from everyone who shall wish me ill, whether far or near, whether few or many. Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in me, Christ beneath me, Christ above me, Christ on my right, Christ on my left, Christ when I lie down, Christ when I sit down, Christ when I arise, Christ in my heart of everyone who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. I arise today through a mighty strength, the invocation of the Trinity, through belief in the threeness, through confession of the oneness of the Creator of creation. Amen.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This time I'd ask the clerk to call roll.
Mayor Bethune,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Kicklighter, Councilmember Daniel, Councilmember Lassiter,
Here.
Councilmember Morris,
Present.
Councilmember Ruiz, and Councilmember Tice.
Here.
Councilmember Kicklighter is feeling under the weather tonight, so she's not here with us. This time we're going to open up our meeting for anyone who wants to come forward and speak for 3 minutes. Is there anyone who wants? Come on up, Ashley.
I know I was just before you, and I guess I could have taken the personal time then. But last Monday, I was in Washington, D.C., and on Tuesday, I was lobbying on behalf of the One campaign, going to the offices of our members of Congress, Buddy Carter, Senators Loeffler and Perdue, and also I visited Rick Lewis's office as well. I was campaigning on behalf of Gavi, which is a global vaccine alliance. It was founded 20 years ago to deliver vaccines for preventable diseases to children, particularly in Africa. Bill and Melinda Gates, it was one of the first things that they founded to try and deal with extreme poverty worldwide. And over the 20 years, they've delivered 800 million vaccines and saved 6 million children's lives. That's the good news. The bad, I guess, there is still an inconvenient truth that babies continue to be born. So vaccinations are a never-ending job. And so for the next 5 years, Gabby has a budget of over $7 billion. And the United States has a pledge expectation of about $227 million of that. Lots of other countries participate in it. I'm not going to give you the full spiel, but I just wanted you to know that it's a real privilege that I got to experience, to go walk in the halls of Congress, to pray over our Capitol, and then to come here a week later and to pray for you. And so I just thank you for the opportunity to experience that privilege and also to share with you the work that people are doing all over our country and all around the world.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would want to come forward and speak for 3 minutes? Seeing no movement, we're going into the remaining agenda. First one is a public hearing. Alcoholic beverage license application. Receipt of public comment on the alcoholic beverage license application made by V. Shaw to sell wines, beer, and/or malt beverage at the Pump and Go, 4820 Augusta Road, Garden City, Georgia. I'm going to open up this public hearing. Is there anyone who would want to come forward and speak either in favor of or against? Seeing no movement, I'm going to close this public hearing. We have an alcoholic beverage manager's application, receipt of public comment on an alcoholic beverage license manager's application made by Helen Edenfield to sell wines, beer, and/or malt beverages at the Pump and Go, 4820 Augusta Road, Garden City. I'm going to open up this public hearing. Anyone here who would want to come and speak in favor of or oppose? Seeing no movement, I'm going to close this public hearing. Approval of City Council minutes dated 2/17/20 and workshop synopsis dated 2/24/20 as amended. I'd entertain a motion on this.
Make the motion for approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Voting on the motion. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going into our staff reports now. Our first one is our Human Resources Department, and our City Manager, Ron Felder, will give us that.
Okay, the Human Resources Report for February 2020, in the recruitment area, the city has immediate openings to fill public works, work tech, and water repair tech. The city also has continuous recruitment for a police officer and/or police officer recruit and part-time firefighters. We had several new hires in the month of February. Code Enforcement Officer John Garrett, 3 new firefighters, Eric Holmes, Michael Gordon, and Miles Mitchell, along with Carlos Navarez, who will work in the capacity as the city's fire marshal. In the month, we had 1 employee retire and accepted 3 resignations from employees. The city ended the month with 101 full-time employees. The chart in your report shows the breakdown. The city's turnover rate for the month of February was 4%. There were no unemployment claims received in the month, and there was 1 workplace accident during February with no lost time. That concludes the report for Human Resources for last month.
Thank you, Ron. Next up is Information Technology, Ben Brugman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
During the month of February, we deployed 9 new laptops that were part of that grant. We updated 7 computers to Windows 10. The audio and video upgrades in council chambers, in the courtroom here, have been completed. We're still working on some adjustments with that. And on the social media side, we have 1,183 followers on Facebook and 494 followers on Twitter. Building maintenance, we repaired the exhaust fan on the police department side of the city hall, and we began the installation of the LED lights throughout the city hall. We're upgrading from 10 years ago, the technology has gotten more efficient and less expensive to use LEDs now. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ben. Next up is Director of Parks and Recreation, Cliff Ducey.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I have the Parks and Recreation report for February. Start off with our senior center. It was a good month for the seniors. They had a lot going on. They had a post Super Bowl party, a Valentine's celebration. They went to Hilton Head for shopping and out to eat. They also went to Cracker Barrel out to eat on February 25th. One of the things Judy wanted me to mention this month, just to kind of keep them fresh in everybody's mind, they do bingo every Tuesday and Thursday. So that's always going on at our senior center. That seems to be a big deal over there. Also, Scrabble tournament has been added twice a month on Fridays at 11 a.m. As far as meals served, they had 633 lunches served during February and 116 breakfasts served during the month of February. At our Cooper Center, we have about an average of 15 per day participating after school over there. Also, on the 20th, as y'all know, we had our Arbor Day tree planting this year. Was at the Cooper Center. We planted a little tree out front there to the left of the front yard. Also continuing to make some improvements at the Cooper Center. It looks really good with what we've done, and we've got some more things we're going to add this year. As far as another grant that we have, as far as a little community garden we're going to build out to the left with some raised boxes, so we're looking forward to that. A big thing I want to mention, our basketball teams this past week did an incredible job. I'd mentioned at the beginning of the season, we had 15 basketball teams this year, which equaled last year, which was the most I can remember us ever having. We actually entered our 8s, 10s, 12s, 14s, and 17 under teams into the district GRK tournament. And we actually hosted the 8 and under tournament at Garden City Gym last week, finished up on Friday night. Savannah actually won that. Chatham County came in second. But what I wanted to mention, we have 5 teams that qualified for state this year out of Garden City, which was incredible. Normally we have like one team maybe make it, but our 12 and under girls won in Savannah. I mean, they beat Savannah and Richmond Hill at the tournament over in South Bryan County. So they're going to state in Spalding County this next weekend. That's the bad news. We got to travel, but the good news on the other 4 teams, all the state is in Savannah. So our 14 under boys, we had 2 really good teams this year. And we decided, we asked for permission if we could enter them both in the district, and they allowed us to. There was a spot in there. They ended up coming in first and second in our district. So they played each other, but the first and second both had bids to the state and already set up in that tournament. So they both go to state, which is in Savannah. Our 14 under girls are going to state in Savannah, and our 17 under boys are going to state in Savannah. All these will be played Friday and Saturday this coming up this week. So just incredible that our teams were able to do that. Very proud of them. We have some really good coaches and players, of course. But I wanted to also mention that it's time for baseball, softball, and t-ball sign-ups. We go from ages 4 to 14, boys and girls, and it's only $25 to sign up. They can sign up Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. at the recreation office right there at our gym. And just bring a birth certificate and sign up, and we'll get them on our team. And that concludes the Parks and Recreation report.
Thank you, Cliff. Good job.
Thank you.
I have a question. Excuse me. Just want to know where in Savannah will those championship games be held?
Well, some are at Johnson High School, some are at Woodville Tompkins, some are at Myers. You'd have to call me back when I have the sheets in front of me, but they're all local, usually local high schools. Yes.
If I can get you
Yeah.
to maybe email me.
Yeah, I can do that.
I would love to attend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you.
City Manager, we have any updates?
No, sir.
Have a number of items for consideration. First one is ordinance zoning map amendment. Ask the clerk to read that by heading only.
An ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance and map of Garden City, Georgia as amended to rezone Tract A of Lot 14, Dogwood Tract, Garden City, Chatham County, Georgia, measuring 4.314 acres and more commonly known as 702 U.S. Highway 80, Garden City, owned by Pritia LLC from its present zoning classification of 2C2A to an I2 zoning classification.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval. Second.
You're making a motion to approve it from C8 to I2. You need to make a motion to deny,
Oh, deny. Sorry.
correct?
If that is your
No, no, no,
wishes.
I mean, if that's what you intend.
Yeah, I think we need to rethink what we're talking about. This is the parcel in the southwest corner of Highway 80 and Alfred Street. We talked about it at workshop, and in this particular matter, the Planning Commission recommended denial based on the 6 zoning criteria that we applied to request of this nature.
Okay.
I make a motion to
We
deny.
have a motion to deny. Do I have a second? Have a motion and second. This particular piece of property, as Ron was saying, is if you're coming off the farmer's market overpass, it's immediately to your right. And the petitioner would like to put containers there, but once we change the zoning, anything can go there. And with the issue with the containers, with an I-2, you could even stack those containers. So I don't think this is the appropriate location to have this, so I'll be voting against it. We have a motion, a second, voting on the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Well, Mr. Mayor, he did oppose, just for the record.
Okay. Resolution FY 2019 year-end budget amendment, general fund. Ask clerk to read that by heading only.
A resolution to amend the fiscal year 2019 general operating fund budget to adjust for the differences between the originally adopted and presently projected revenues and expenditures for certain of the various line items in the city's general fund budget.
City Manager, you give us an overview, please?
Yeah, the unaudited year-end report is typically compiled this time of year, brought before the city council for approval. As the motion state, or the resolution states, it's simply to rectify and reconcile the expenses and revenues from the previous year to reflect what actually occurred from an unaudited perspective ahead of the auditor's arrival in April.
Okay. Got ahead of myself. Entertain a motion?
Make a motion for approval. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Voting on the motion. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution FY 2019 year-end budget amendment, enterprise fund. I'd ask the clerk to read that by heading on.
A resolution to amend the fiscal year 2019 budgets for the 4 enterprise funds, Fire Protection Fund, Stormwater Fund, Sanitation Fund, and Water and Sewer Fund, to adjust for the differences between the originally adopted and presently projected revenues and expenditures for certain of the various line items in the budgets of the 4 different enterprise funds.
Entertain a motion.
I make a motion for approval.
Second. Ron, another overview on that, please.
Yeah, the business funds of the city, in the case, fire, stormwater, sanitation, water, sewer, also have to be reconciled from an unaudited perspective at the end of the fiscal year, such that we can approve this resolution tonight ahead of the auditor coming in April.
Thank you. Voting on the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution FY 2019 year-end budget amendment, Splash Fund. I ask clerk to read that by heading only.
A resolution to amend the fiscal year 2019 SPOS fund budget to adjust for the differences between the originally adopted and presently projected revenues and expenditures for certain of the various line items in the SPOS fund budget.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval.
Second.
Ron, would you give us an overview of that, please?
Yeah, the special purpose local option sales tax fund brings in a certain amount of money each year, and then from that, the city council directs the staff on what capital purchases and capital projects should be undertaken within the fiscal year. This exercise, once again, reconciles up the actual revenues received, the actual projects and expenses that were incurred, and reflects that for your approval tonight.
Thank you. Voting on the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution FY 2019 year-end budget amendment, special revenue funds. I'd ask the clerk to read that by heading only.
A resolution to amend the fiscal year 2019 budgets for the three special revenue funds, confiscated assets fund, hotel motel tax fund, tourism fund, to adjust for the differences between the originally adopted and presently projected revenues and expenditures for certain of the various line items in the budgets of the three different special revenue funds.
Entertain a motion.
Second.
Ron, would you give us further review, please?
Yeah, these three special revenue funds operate, once again, on a projected revenue and expenditures annual budget. Staff has gone through, reconciled up the expenses and revenues for the year end, put them before you tonight for approval.
Have a motion second, vote on the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries. Resolution GMA Master Lease Supplement for 2020 police vehicles, I'd ask the clerk to read that by heading only.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute and put into effect one or more lease supplements pursuant to the master lease dated as of April 21st, 2003 with the Georgia Municipal Association, Inc. for the purchase of 6 Dodge Durango SSV vehicles plus the cost of equipping same estimated to be $300,000.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval.
And these are vehicles we need, and we have money in the budget.
Yeah, we budgeted for 6 vehicles at the amount shown there. We're using the GMA master lease approach just as a tool because interest rates right now for borrowing this kind of money are very low, so we thought we'd take advantage of that.
Thank you. Voting on the motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, motion carries. Resolution Clearwater Solutions Contract Amendment, I'd ask the clerk to read that by heading only.
A resolution authorizing the city of Garden City, Georgia to amend its service contract with Clearwater Solutions LLC to include the provision of code enforcement and stormwater inspection services to be performed by qualified personnel, to authorize the city manager to execute the service contract amendment for such services.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval.
And Ron, one more time, if you give us an overview, please.
Yeah, our third-party public services vendor, Clearwater Solutions, affords us the opportunity to bring back into the full post-retirement one of our staff members, Larry Jones, who recently retired, and we desire him to re-engage with us to assist us in areas where he has expertise, and through the provisions of our pension plan, the method in which Mr. Jones would come back to work for us would be through a third-party vendor such as Clearwater. So we have worked this out with Clearwater, and he will be retained in that part-time basis for a period that we as the city will determine and dictate to Clearwater going forward from here.
Thank you. Voting on the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. Resolution Convention Visitors Bureau Joint Appointment, ask the clerk to read that by heading only.
A resolution by the mayor and council to reappoint Pat Gunn and Ed Chapman to the Garden City Area Convention and Visitors Bureau Authority to serve as voting members thereof from the effective date of this resolution until their respective successors are appointed within 45 days of the first meeting of the mayor and city council in January 2023.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval.
Any comments, Ron, please?
Yeah, periodic exercise that we have to undertake. In this case, the joint appointments of Ms. Gunn and Mr. Chapman, existing board members, reappointing them to continue to serve. They've both done a very good job for us and really helped us turn the CVB around the last couple of years, and we appreciate their efforts to really get that program moving in a great direction.
Thank you. Voting on the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have an appointment to the Bureau by Councilmember Laster,
Yes, I appoint Lena Harris.
and we have an appointment by Councilmember Morris.
Greetings. I appoint Mrs. Rochelle Ferguson to be appointed to the CVB's board, and she will serve those terms related to my term here as being councilwoman.
And in the absence of Councilmember Kicklighter, I will appoint Curtis Faircloth. And that is all we have to do with that, correct, Ron?
That is correct.
Okay. We have an alcoholic beverage license application. I'd ask the clerk to read that by heading only.
Consideration by City Council to approve an alcoholic beverage license application made by Vic Graham S. Shaw to sell wines, beer, and/or malt beverages at the Pump and Go, 4820 Augusta Road, Garden City.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval.
Motion made and seconded, voting on the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries. Alcoholic beverage license manager's application, I'd ask the clerk to read that by heading only.
Consideration by City Council to approve an alcoholic beverage license manager's application made by Helen B. Edenfield to sell wines, beer, and/or malt beverages at the Pump and Go, 4820 Augusta Road, Garden City.
Entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, voting on the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries. Is there any other business that needs to come forward tonight? Entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank y'all for coming.